This is the iRacers Lounge, featuring the latest iRacing news, driver interviews, race reviews, opinions, discussions, rumors, and more. Now here's Alan Pajari and Mike Ellis.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Alan Pajari. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. With me here is the usuals of Mike Ellis and Carlos Fonseca. And today we have three guests. We have Jeff Walton, Logan Clampett, and Lance Gomez Jr. Welcome, guys.
Hey. Hello.
Hi.
All right. We have Logan's been with us before, but we have two new guests. So let me kind of start off with you, Jeff, on some of our new guest questions that we normally ask. When did you start iRacing?
I believe springtime this year, early February.
Early February. How often do you race?
I try to run at least 3 times a week, but it doesn't ever work out that way.
All right. What series do you normally run?
NIS and the super late models.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Do you have wheel and pedals? What kind?
Yes, I have the Logitech Driving Pro. I think it's the most basic you can get.
All right. Do you participate in any leagues there, Jeff?
Yes, Typhosi Racing.
Typhosi Racing. And that, I'm assuming that's a team that you're part of too, then, Jeff, Typhosi.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have a most memorable iRacing moment that you like to share?
My second win, doing the Delara Dash, led from the green flag, all the way to the checker flag. I don't ever win that often, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
All right.
IndyCar wins are kind of hard to get.
Yeah, especially the old car. All right, Lance. When did you start iRacing?
I started iRacing in 2011 after I've been hearing a lot of talk about it when I was on Xbox 360, and I was playing NASCAR 09, and basically, I was kind of really tired of the same old arcade-ish physics of the shelf games, and so I invested in the computer and got on iRacing.
All right. How often do you race there, Lance?
When I can, I try to race NIS every week and C-Fixed. That's about it.
All right. Well, what type of wheel and pedals do you have?
I have a Fanatic GT3 wheel with
Nice.
Fanatic CSR pedals.
Very nice. Do you have multiple monitors?
No, just a single one.
Just a single one?
Yep.
Do you participate in any leagues?
Am I? Dang. No, not that I can remember.
All right. Are you part of any team there, Lance?
No.
Just a single on your own?
Oh yeah.
What's your most memorable iRacing moment?
Most memorable iRacing moment. That's tough. I know that back in 2012 when I was coming up through the ranks, I was beating a few pro drivers, and that was really memorable. And I remember beating Ray Alfalo once. That was pretty memorable. Yeah, I can't put a single moment on it. I have a lot of memorable moments.
Yeah, beating Ray, I think, would be very memorable for me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's talk with Logan here. Let's talk about the Pro Series. Logan, saw that you had a race on Tuesday night. You want to talk about your Phoenix race there?
Yeah, first of all, a couple of weeks ago was Texas, and I didn't qualify into the race, which was a bummer because I was as fast as Bose, who got P3 at Texas all week during testing in A Open. But Phoenix, I made a huge comeback because I qualified 29th into the race, which I was very glad about. And then I got up to P14 and I made it 3 wide halfway through the race. And I guess Nick Furler didn't know we were 3 wide and just didn't give me any room. Got pinched in between and got wrecked. There's a minute 40 of damage, then got caught up in another wreck after repairing all my damage. Then there's another 18 seconds and made a huge comeback and got P12.
It's a nice run.
Yeah,
So is it hard to qualify into these things? You mentioned at Texas you didn't qualify. Are there too many entries, or what's the deal?
At Texas there were 45 entries and 43 make the race. I just got like really nervous. That's all. I just got like my heart was pounding and my hands were shaking. So that's pretty much how I didn't make the race. I got too nervous. I tried to calm it down at Phoenix, which I kind of did. I did a little bit better.
That was your first pro race, though, right, Logan?
Yeah, Phoenix.
Yeah, that's understandable, I would think.
Yeah, well, for Texas, not qualifying is understandable. I would be awfully nervous about it, too, but way to turn it around for Phoenix. But let's just talk about Texas a little bit. Cody Bias did win the race. Is that correct there, Logan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Phoenix, Brad Davies won the race, and so I watched the Phoenix race, and it looked like pretty exciting race there.
One thing I noticed was I heard 2nd through 5th was the same on both races. Is that right?
2nd through 5th? Yes.
Yeah. So those guys obviously doing really good in points since they got 2 top 5s in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So it's so you got a little bit. There's one drop week, isn't there, right, Logan?
Yes, there's one drop weekend. I used Texas, but I believe but there's only one drop week. I know that a few guys I know who've been in pro the past few years, they got like probably around 30th 3 races or so, and I think it was Laughlin. He got 30th, around 30th, like 3 times or 4 times, and still got P12 in points. So I'm not real worried about it. I just got to keep my car clean towards the end.
Yep, that'd be a good strategy. Keep it clean and move up in the point standings. It's all about points for that series.
What are you doing in the now that you're in season with practice and sets? And I mean, how much time are you putting in between the races?
We're putting in quite a bit of time. I mean, yeah, I tested probably Phoenix. We started probably Thursday and topped it off on Monday, probably a couple hours a day. So I haven't been able to do like a lot of C-fixed races like I normally do, or I did a few NIS races though, which was pretty cool. I almost won Martinsville till something happened. I'm not going to say it though.
Well, I'll cover that later. Logan, why don't you talk a little bit about your team, your sponsor? I noticed that you got a brand new paint for the Pro Series. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm sponsored by, well, my main sponsors are Ascors Racing League, owned by Brian Schoenberg and JD Laird, and then I'm also sponsored by Bar Competition. His league hasn't been like going a lot, but it's normally involved with karting and stuff. His name is George Bark, who owns it, and then finally JDR Graphics, who normally paints my cars, and he hasn't painted the Pro Scheme yet, and that's going to be released here in a week or so. So that'll be pretty cool.
All right, we'll be looking for it. All right, let's kind of move on to the NIS. And
oh yeah,
Lance, when we on our shows we normally cover the last 2 races and then the Wednesday of the current race. So the last ones were Martinsville and Texas. Why don't you tell us a little bit how Martinsville went for you? I do know that you had a decent week.
oh yeah, that was fun. The first week, I mean, I was kind of disappointed when I got put in a 3rd split. You know, I got to get my I rating up, but it was a pretty good race. I had a few close incidents with a couple of people, 3rd split, but you know, I ended up getting the win on the first try. Then the second day, which was, I think was Saturday, I got in the top split, and that was real unfortunate. Got tapped from behind, and you know, Hellfield got wrecked. And the last race, second split, was probably the hardest win of my life. It was like 40 laps to go, and I think I forgot his name. No, I forgot his name, but he was catching me, uh, and a second groove was coming in. I didn't notice, and it was just really like I was just getting really sweaty, like my muscles were tensing up, and like I just couldn't relax, and I had to keep up the pace. And it's a short track. You don't have a lot of time to rest on the straightaways. As soon as you're on the straightaways, you're back in the corner again. And so, that was really the hardest one in my life. Just with all passing the lap cars and maintaining the same speed and stuff. So that was a pretty good week. 2 wins, 1 week.
Yeah, Mike and I were actually in your Thursday night race, and so we experienced that. But Logan was in your Saturday. You want to explain what happened from your standpoint there, Logan?
Yeah, I raced Saturday mornings NIS race, and I was probably gonna win it, and certain someone stayed out on 50 lap old tires and kind of came up a lane and just turned me and wrecked all the leaders and wrecked himself. And then I ran Sunday's NIS race and was in P4, and Conti accidentally got into Lusa, which stacked them up, brought out the caution, and with 10 to go, I decided to pit, and a lot of people stayed out, and I got ninth that race, which I kind of got screwed over.
All right. Mike, why don't you tell us about your Martinsville?
Okay. It was, overall, at the end of the day, I had 2 top 10s. So I ended up with a result, even though it was a real tough week. But, I think I was in one of those races with Gomez. And, I got to say, Gomez, I mean, you talk about those races like you had a good result and it was a good thing. But I think you made a lot of enemies, to tell you the truth. I know I was involved in an incident that you were involved in, and it seemed like a lot of the cautions you were involved in. So what do you think about that when people say that, during the sim, and, they say it verbally? You also see it in the forums too.
Well, here's what I have to say about it. A lot of people see that, my name is being talked about because they seem I'm involved in a lot of wrecks, and they will accuse me of a wreck, even if they haven't seen the wreck themselves, and say like, "Oh, Gomez did it. Oh, he wrecked the field, or he wrecked someone," and they won't even check out the replay to see whose fault it was. And so people just like to, whatever the latest trend is, they just like to dive in and, just like to. They just like the attention. They just like to do what everyone else is doing and stuff. And I'm not gonna say that I didn't cause any wrecks. I'm not gonna say that I caused all of them. I did wreck maybe 1 or 2 people. But I'm not gonna say that a lot of the stuff that I was being accused of was my fault.
Well, I can understand. A lot of people. You get this reputation almost where your name precedes yourself, and people see that you're in their room, and they're right. Maybe they're unfairly judging you based on your reputation. But is that a concern of you, that you have that reputation as somebody who's always involved in incidents, or?
No, why should I be worried? I mean, if they want to talk about me, then let them talk about me. I'm not in iRacing to make enemies, but I'm not in iRacing to, have a social club and, make friends and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I'm trying to win a race. And so, they don't really, unless they intentionally take me out, they don't really affect me.
All right. Carlos, did you race Martinsville?
Dinner.
All right. And so I just wanted to say that I raced it twice and a couple of uneventful. I was in the Thursday race with Mike and Lance there, and I got caught up in one of the accidents where I believe Lance was involved, where with Sean Butler there, and basically the track was blocked and I got caught up and had my 30 minutes worth of fix, and so basically that kind of took me out of it. And then I raced the Open where I got the Veloci crunch right at the beginning of the race. So there was kind of a stack up on the outside, and so I ran to the guy in the back, ran into the back of the guy in front of me, and then got hit in the back of the guy behind me. So kind of put me in not a good position for the rest of the race. So I just kind of rode around, which was actually my better finish out of the two. But anyways, Martinsville was disappointing, but I'm glad that some people had some good races. And so let's kind of move on to Texas. Martinsville, I think, was a struggle for a lot of people. Some people did well, some people struggled. But let's move on to Texas. Texas was actually a lot of fun. So let's start out. Logan, did you run Texas at all?
Yeah, I ran I think only one race.
And
it went pretty well, actually. I started off the race. I didn't qualify, so I just hopped in the race last second without any practice and started 18th and worked my way up and got third.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Jose. Jose, I know you like to run Texas. So how'd you do?
Actually, Texas was pretty fun that week. Finished okay. I mean, not well. I mean, there was several times, much like Lance, I get caught up in a lot of wrecks. Unfortunately, I either cause them or I don't cause them. Either which way, I do get caught up in them. And when I'm doing very well, top 5, for example, that's when I tend to get into most of the incidents. I guess it's due to hard racing. But it tends to push me back to the rear most of the time because of that. So I've been having my bad lucks here and there, but not that bad in Texas.
All right, Lance, how'd you do in Texas?
How did I do in Texas?
First of all, you only race the fixed, right? You don't race the open?
Oh, no. I like to race the fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you do?
So let's see. I'm not sure how the first race went. I forgot how the first race went, but I remember the second race. I think I started third, and I got a good jump. Got to second, and I think I was leading the race for a short period of time, and then Michael Dewell, somebody.
Michael
I think
Dewell?
that's his name. Yeah. He was saying that he was gonna wreck me before the race started, and lap 6, I think, he just totally. Going into turn 3, I just got dumped by him, and
Ouch.
he just turned. He did not stop until I was in the wall. Like, he was literally on the throttle until I was in the
Like
wall.
a Matt Kenseth and a Joey Logano thing?
Exactly. There was no type of accident whatsoever. Like, that was like he was on a mission to wreck me, and so that was pretty crappy because I actually when I was in testing, I actually found a good rhythm, like where I actually gained maybe like a half a tenth consistently and stuff. And so I think I had a good chance of winning that race. But
Actually, that is something I want to talk to you about. Because of your reputation, you're kind of known a little bit. That guy has a kind of a kamikaze style, where you want to be up front and you're willing to do what you need to do to be up front. But I was watching that race and I saw Michael get what he said got tight, and basically just run up on you in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And turn you. But pretty much the whole room was blaming you for that wreck.
That wreck?
That wreck.
What?
Yeah,
This is some of the stuff I'm talking about. What?
Well, it's Lance. It's part of your reputation, and so that's where it kind of comes from. And then, so for example, I think Duel got away with one because of the fact that you were involved, and a lot of people were going, hey, there's Gomez Jr. again. And so, how does that make you feel when everyone is blaming you, even when it's not your fault in this case?
It's funny, but sometimes it can get annoying. I was more so disappointed with iRacing's official decision not to suspend him, because I actually protested that incident where he ran into me, and they said that they saw no malice in what he did, and it's crazy, to be honest with you. But as far as everyone else and stuff, everyone's just gonna keep on talking. Even if like let's say if I was to turn over a new leaf now, people would find something about me that pick on me or whatever, or say something about me. So it really doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, it's true that if you were to turn over a new leaf now, and people would, still get on you, but eventually that would end up going away, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions I want to, since we're on this topic, one of the questions I want to ask you is that one time you did drop down to a D class, and that was all safety rating related. And
Oh yeah.
So what do you need to do to try to make sure that doesn't happen again? Because as you know, as D class, you don't qualify to run NIS races. So what do you need to do to be able to fix that?
Yeah, that incident was pretty sketchy right there when I got to D class. It's pretty tough, because when you run into C fixed races, it's kind of like a winner take all, you know, shootout and stuff, and so people get really aggressive in those races. That week, I actually like dropped like 3 licenses, and it was all at Bristol, and it was all me getting caught up in wrecks. Not so much me causing them, but people, it's a 1 lane racetrack, and it's all up high and stuff. So, um, I guess qualify. That's really my problem, is that I don't qualify a lot. If I do qualify, if I do practice before the week starts, I could probably maybe avoid a lot of the wrecks. That's one way that I may be able to, avoid the drama and stuff.
Yeah, but I would figure after maybe 8x, you would like maybe just take it easy, and maybe just look for, what, I'm just going to get a top 5 out of this deal and not get any more instant points.
Yeah.
Because I know one of your quotes that you have on your page is that if you're content with the top 5, you don't need to be in a race car.
Oh
And
yeah.
that is quoted by you.
Yeah.
So is that kind of your philosophy that you take into a race, that you know what, I'm gonna try to win, and that's just it?
I feel like if a person steps into a race, don't like unless it's like you have like your equipment is not up to par and you're running for a championship, that's a different story. But I'm talking about like on a week to week basis, shootout races and stuff. If you enter a race with the mentality of saying like, okay, let's just get a solid finish, instead of looking for more ways to improve and actually try to win a race. That's actually the whole purpose of a race, is to see who gets to the finish line first. Then I mean, like, why are you racing in the first place? I don't really understand that.
Well, for example, with the NIS, there's the points thing. A lot of people are going for points, and a lot of people are just trying to work on their I rating, that type of stuff. So if they get wrecked or they wreck, then that doesn't help them in any of those situations. So a lot of people will settle. Like, for example, tonight at Phoenix, I'm thinking, you know what, if I finish top half, I had a successful race, because I'm not very good at Phoenix, and I'm fine with that. So I'm not going to go out there, crazy style and try for a win, because I know where my skills are. I'm not going to drive over my skills to try to get something I'm not going to get.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my philosophy on it. But, maybe you feel that you can win every race that you step into, so you race differently. Is that what you think?
No, I definitely agree with you that no one should be driving in over their head and stuff. If you're not good at a track and all you could do is a top 5, then But I feel like every racer truly, every true racer deeply inside of them, truly wants to win a race. But if you can't, if you're not good at a track, if your setup's not up to par, then yeah, don't drive in over your head and wreck everybody. I totally agree.
All right. I do want to point out at Texas that Carlos, I believe, got a second place finish.
What's that?
Is that you got a second place finish
Oh yeah.
on Saturday?
It was Thursday night, I believe.
Oh, Thursday night, very good.
That's
And in the fixed thing, I really wasn't very good at Texas. For some reason, turn 2 just kind of killed me. So if I tried pushing the car, I would end up hitting that patch of ice. And one time late in the race, I ended up hitting that patch of ice. That kind of ruined my Thursday. But in the open, had a great set. Ran up there with some top guys on Friday night. End up getting in a wreck with Jake Champion, who's normally a very safe driver. Unfortunately, I got in a wreck with him. And finished last car in lead lap. Mike, I believe you're in that race. Finished behind me, I believe.
Yeah, I had a tough week. I had a second and a seventh at Martinsville, but Texas ended up with 18th and 13th. And it was tough. I've had some connection problems the last couple of weeks. And getting caught up in other people's wrecks, which is really easy at Texas on the backstretch. When somebody spins off 2, they come back across the track usually, and got caught up in one of those on Wednesday. But, it ended up getting enough points where it wasn't a drop week, so it wasn't a total loss. But I have a hard time there. I hit that on Sunday night. I hit the ice that you speak of, and late in the race, and spun out myself and ruined my good finish.
Yeah, and then I took the open again on Sunday morning and was able to run up front near the leaders, which actually made me pretty happy. Logan and Lance, I know you guys really don't know this, but I'm more of that third split, second split type of driver. I normally don't get to race in top splits, and so Sunday morning I was able to race with some of the top guys, and my setup was good, and I was able to hang up there with them and made me feel pretty good, and I got a 8th place finish, so I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, nice run.
Oh, pretty cool. All right.
That's a good point. That's more points than you're normally used to getting, huh?
Yeah, except for the couple wins I got, but yeah, it normally is. All right, Lance, I do got a question for you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, when everyone first they join into a race, the NIS races especially,
Yeah.
you join into the race. One of the first things you do is you look over the drivers list to see who's in your race. And I know for like Mike, myself, Carlos, and most everyone I know, we kind of go through a list and we go, oh, he's in my race. Oh, he's in my race, and we could probably name about 4 or 5 guys. And Michael McLean, Cameron McKee. Is that what his name is? Cameron. Mike,
Cameron
his
Key.
name. Cameron Key. Joshua Justice. These are guys, and Lance, yourself, you're one of the ones I hope that, so I'm actually glad you're working on your iRating. Maybe you'd be out of my split. But, there's guys that I look at going, oh God, here, you can kind of figure, okay, either I might end up with something or something like that. I want to know from you, who do you look at? Like, crap, I really don't want to race against him.
No, nobody.
Tyler Hudson's not on that list.
Yeah, Tyler's known for wrecking people, isn't he?
Oh, he's just hard to beat. That's all.
He's
Do
just
you have
very-
guys that you're like, oh, these guys are hard to beat? I'm not going to be able to beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you look for, Lance? And just nobody?
I look forward to seeing certain people, but like when I see the pro drivers like Paul Kushner, I know he doesn't race on iRacing a lot anymore. I don't know. Real Fala, Danny Hansen, Michael Connie. When I see those people in the room, I say like, okay, this is my opportunity to race them and stuff. But
So you more look at it, see, because you want to compete against the top guys. You want to kind of judge them where you are, right?
yeah, I want to be the best of the best. I want to be everybody.
And we have one of them in here with us, Logan. Logan, who do you look at when you're looking at these guys? Who do you either A, want to compete with or don't want to compete with?
Normally, I want to compete with Ryan Luza. I know he's really fast and stuff, and Tyler Hudson, Conti, all those guys that normally go up towards the front. The guys who I don't really want to compete with and that I'm kind of afraid of, only a couple, and one of them is Lance Gomez Jr.
I think he makes the top on almost everyone's list there. Sorry,
Yeah.
Lance, but that's just the way it is.
Nah, it's no problem.
All right. So let's a little bit talk about Phoenix here.
Agreed.
Now we have a race tonight in a setup that I don't know stinks, and to me, Phoenix is just one of those places where you got three really bad danger zones. You got turn one, where people might be diving in on you. You got turn three, where people might be riding up on you.
Can we just say the whole track?
Yeah, and then we got that stupid apron thing, where people they're blind. Let's face it, they're blind. Even with the triple screens, sometimes you can't see those guys that are going way down there and stuff. So, Logan, since you raced it just Tuesday night, what's your kind of strategy on Phoenix, and if you're racing the fixed setup?
I know I'm not gonna race tonight, but I know it's during the day, so it's gonna be a little looser. But I guess just qualify up front and stay up front. Just normally what I do.
Yeah, it's hard to pass.
Yeah, Lance,
that's true.
Lance, what's your strategy for tonight?
I've never raced on this track before. As far as the new, until tonight. But I'm starting to see that cutting the track on that dog leg thingy, it's like you have to cut it. Like there's no choice. Like and it's kind of stinky. Like it really stinks because it's just like this track is like a glorified Mario Kart track, like where you have to take the shortcut to win a race, and it's just like why is a track like this? Like I personally think that the track needs to be reconfigured. I think that's trash because now people, one thing I saw a lot in my race is that when people dive into the apron, they accidentally may turn into somebody on the inside, and it causes a huge wreck. And I really think that's, sometimes it's not their fault. They have to go down there to be fast.
Well, actually, in the A car, it's a little bit different than like the trucks or the B car. But
really?
Go ahead, Carlos.
No, I was just going to say, some people take it to the extreme and cut the entire apron by going as close to the inside wall.
Yeah.
You can make hay down there, though. That's the point.
Well, like I was saying, basically the truck and the B car, you can definitely go down there, and it's a lot easier. A car, it is. If you're going to cut that dog leg, you're talking about getting loose real quick.
Yeah, last night when we ran it, Jose and I didn't see a lot of people cutting down there. And the reason was that they just unsettled the car so much with the A car. And but there were people that would do it, and you do it on occasion, especially on a restart.
In the practice session earlier today, there was a bunch of people trying it, and they were just dumping the car, spinning out left and right. And they were like, we're just here to see if we can even get the car to do it.
Yeah, I ran a truck race on Tuesday at Phoenix, and the truck's much different, like you said. You can actually manhandle it down there, and it'll hold nice and steady. So you, like Lance was saying, you almost have to go down there every time, especially in the truck.
Right. Well, I know for me, the only time I actually go down there is if I have someone on my outside, and that's because they might expect me to go down there anyway, and so they'll come down to, right at that yellow line right before that apron, and if I'm there, I'm going to be wrecked. So
now, isn't the most awkward thing in the world when you're on the outside and that inside guy stays on the track?
Well, I personally, I plan for it. I expect that guy to stay on the track, but what I'm worried about is other people, and so I'll dive down into the dog leg on the apron just for my own safety.
Oh, you guys remember last year, don't you? Little incident I had
with Spencer E. Burns.
Yep. No, because he went down to the apron and car got loose because it hit the track, and it's really bumpy down there, but he got real loose and comes back and wrecks everyone and never apologized for it. So guess what I did? I took him out with 2 to go.
Yep. But turn 3 is probably my biggest worry, is that if you're running on the outside and someone can't hold the inside there, that's probably and I think that's where we're going to probably see most of the cautions tonight, even though coming off of 4 is loose. I'm just expecting it to be pretty ugly. I do know that that a lot of the A races were pretty pretty clean last night for the most part. Some long runs, but I'm not expecting that for the fixed. Anybody got any opinions?
It was a mix last night of short and long runs. So I expect more of the same, probably.
Depend on the split, I guess. I mean, on my split, the first...
Hey, you were green forever, weren't you?
Yeah, we were green for a really, really long time. And then at the end, towards the end of the race is when it got very, I wouldn't say dirty, just in a lot of incidents, a lot of crashes, people wrecking, I guess overdriving in the end. But it was a pretty good race.
Yep. So anyway, I plan to just ride in the back pretty much all night and then see where I'm at with basically 120 laps in, and maybe try to hopefully still be around and still be on lead lap and give it a shot for what I'm hoping for is just a top half finish. So that's my strategy for tonight. So let's talk a little bit about the points for the NIS Open.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting still got this locked up. Almost 1,100 point lead over second. Ryan Michael Luza, Dylan Jones third, Travis Schaefer fourth, Jordy Lopez Jr. in fifth. Raul Alvis, who we're going to mention later, he's running sixth. Nice run from him.
Yep, and I got a teammate sitting in ninth, which is Jason K. Miller.
Yep.
And Mike, you're sitting there at 25th.
I'm barely on the front page, the first page, hanging in there in 25th. I don't know. I got to have a couple good finishes here to finish off the season. I've really struggled as of late, but trying to keep it together.
All right, then let's the NIS fixed top five, or Michael Abrams. I think he has that championship sewn up. He's over 1,000 points ahead of Dwayne Vincent and Matt Busa, Ari Etty, and then another one of my teammates, Tyler D. Hudson. So there's your top five for the overall fixed. So it's looks like a pretty good race there for second through fifth.
Yeah, you got to remember, guys, this is the most popular series in iRacing. And so I'm already starting to think about next season. Jose and I are, been talking plans and stuff. Who here is planning a full season run?
I'll tell you what I've been thinking. I've been thinking about dropping the fixed and just running the NIS Open next year.
Yeah.
Why?
I've just been disappointed in the fixed, and actually I've been having a lot more fun dealing with setups and working on the setups and then running the Open. And to be honest with you, I feel a little bit more competitive in the Open than I do the fixed.
Okay. All right.
I plan on running both next year, everything, just because you get more laps on the track. And it's just more time behind the wheel.
Yeah, which is, especially when you're first starting out like you there, Jeff, most definitely. But, yeah, I might just run the Open. Yeah, Mike, you planning on running everything again?
Yeah, I'll run both of them. As you guys know, I've been tracking my points and average finish and everything on Open and fixed throughout the entire season. It's interesting comparing the points and the average finish between the both. They're actually almost identical. But what I'm finding is there's actually more competition in the fixed than there is the Open if you look at the points and how many points have been scored and that kind of thing.
Yeah. There is kind of one question that I wanted to just kind of bring up. Mike, it's not on notes, but it's just kind of an opinion question here. Since it's something I saw last night, and people you can just answer. What would you consider dive bombing in oval racing?
You're 2 or 3 car lengths back, and all of a sudden you're at my quarter panel as we go into a corner.
I think dive bombing I think dive bomb is when you try to get to someone's corner panel while they're at the corner already. I think that's. I don't know. I don't know because you do have aggressive passes, and I think dive bombing it shouldn't be demonized all the time.
I think
Logan? Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
What's up?
Just a minute. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think dive bombing is you doing anything that makes the other person have to change what they're doing, regardless of the situation. If someone's lined up in the turn and you coming down on them and making them brake harder or do evasive action to get out of your way, I think that's wrong.
That's a good point.
Interesting. Logan, I'd like to get your opinion since you're the black striper here. What do you consider dive bombing in an oval race?
Probably just driving it in from half a car length back. Like at Phoenix, Alex Warren was gonna pass me. He was like half a car length back, and he just drove it in and almost stumped me. Thankfully, I saved it. But I mean, if you're right on someone, probably like a quarter of a car length or something, I wouldn't count that as a dive bomb. But half a car length or so, then yeah, I would.
Well, especially more than a half of a car length. Like if it's 1, 2, or 3 car lengths, that's a real dive bomb.
At least it's not 10 to 15 like it is on road.
I feel like, I was gonna say I feel like, I feel like it doesn't matter how many car lengths the person is behind you. I feel like if the person behind you gets to the corner before you do, I feel like it's their corner. I feel like it's a justified pass.
Yeah, and I think that if you got a quarter panel on them, or where the guy can't come down on the thing without hitting you, and you haven't shot back from car lengths back or anything like that, if you're there at the corner on his quarter panel, then I think that is not a dive bomb. I think when you come back or when you drive real hard in there to try to get him, and he can't make the turn, then I consider that a dive bomb.
Now, you talked about it shouldn't be demonized. Are we talking about this unwritten driver's code that they keep talking about in NASCAR?
No, I actually not talking about no type of driver's code because on iRacing, we're still facing the challenge of trying to have multiple grooves, and so a lot of the racing is single file until someone's trying to make a pass, and sometimes the racing is just so tight that sometimes your only option is to just go in a little bit deeper than the person ahead of you. So I mean, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know on the road side, it's sometimes you're in a position where it's impossible to pass someone unless you do it. And so that's the reason why I said on the oval side, because a lot of times on the oval, you can run the outside and still, you can run side by side next to someone for a while. But on the road side, it's kind of a little different story. It really is a race to each corner.
Yeah, and on the oval side, there's still this driver code thing is still part of it. I want to put that in there. I race Lance Gomez Jr. differently than I race Clampett. Okay, and the reason is just that. I know Lance is going to drive it in there, and either I'm going to drive it in just as hard, or I'm going to give him room and let him go by, or do something differently than I would if it was somebody else. So, like Kenseth in real world racing here, his driver code got broken, and so what did he do? He took care of it on track. And I wanted to ask you guys, I'm going to kind of detour it here, but what do you guys think about that? I mean, if that happened in iRacing, Nim Cross would have parked you, right?
Yeah, but I feel like on iRacing that the higher the splits you get to, the more whiners there are, and so I feel like since there's a lack of money put into racing these cars, these virtual cars, that people find little reasons to wreck you, and so like you come up. I feel like there's a lack of quintessential racing in iRacing. I feel like I really don't understand these philosophies. This is my personal opinion. I don't understand these philosophies like you pinch you pay or you block you pay. Like these are strategies that are taken in real life and done in real life. Now, if you do it excessively, okay, I understand. Like if you abuse the other guy, I mean, you got a bumper, use them up. But I just feel like I feel like the people on iRacing just find any if you race them too hard for like one lap, they feel like they have the right to slide up on you and wreck you and end your day and stuff. I feel like you can't race people hard, on iRacing too much without them getting upset.
Well, that's an interesting take because, I kind of feel like there should be this driver's code, and you're saying there really isn't one because nobody has any real skin in the game.
Well, there's no consequences, really.
Right.
Except for a suspension, but that's rare.
It is rare. And, Lance, that is a question I do got for you. Were you banned for 6 months at one time?
Banned for 6 months? No, I was actually banned for a year. I was banned.
So, can you talk about it? Can you talk about why? And
I will gladly talk about it. All right. So we're in the NASCAR iRacing series fixed. New Hampshire, me and Aleski Aloma, we're racing really hard. We're rubbing on each other. It's really tight. Then there's a caution with 16 laps to go, and I pit and get right side tires, and I'm basically in a perfect position to win the race because the first 5 people haven't pitted, and like they're really on old tires, and I'm really set to win this race. And so at New Hampshire, when the pace car pulls in, there's a certain line, like the restart zone. Like when the leader usually crosses that line, it automatically goes green. And so I was saying, like, I really have to nail this if I want to get my first NASCAR iRacing Series win. And so I'm behind Aleski Aloma and stuff, and the leader hits the line, the restart line, but the race didn't go green. And so I punched it. I thought the race was going to go green, but it didn't. I punched it. I hit his car, and my car kind of morphed into his car, and that caused him to turn to the person outside. It caused like a 10-car wreck. And he was basically saying like, I've been protested a lot, and he was tired of, seeing the protests and stuff like that coming up on this thing and stuff. So he banned me for a year and stuff.
Year's a long time.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
And let me ask, do you do anything differently because of that ban? Or are you still the same racer you were before, or what?
One thing I learned from that situation is not to assume. And I don't have a crew chief this time. Eric Eisenberg used to be my crew chief. He was awesome. But he's not there anymore, unfortunately. But it gave me a chance to work on myself with real life racing. Trying to work on that too.
Okay, and we'll get to that in a minute here. So what happened was that you got banned for basically because you thought something was going to go green. You punched it and didn't go green, and ended up causing a huge wreck.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
But since you've been protested several times, they decided to ban you for a year.
Yeah, it was kind of like a number of incidents and stuff like that. Like it wasn't because I got protested multiple times on that incident, but it's just like, okay, over the span, like I just been protested. I guess maybe them got tired of seeing that, and so he protested me. I mean, he suspended me a year, I guess.
Okay. If I were to ask you, who do you think has the most incidents per race in the NIS fix this year? Who do you think it would be?
I think it would be Lance Gomez.
I think it would be Lance Gomez Jr. Yeah.
I heard that.
Actually, Lance, you're second.
Oh.
Fred Masters is first. So,
oh, wow.
But yes, you are averaging over 10 incidents per start.
Yeah. I would be number one if I did the same amount of races as him.
That's per start, I said. So, yeah, I actually kind of looked at it just per start on who has the most. So I figured that in already. But but you will admit that you do kind of cause some stuff.
I'll admit that I'm in wrecks, yeah. And once in a while, I will cause wrecks. But the thing is that what people don't understand is that I make the same mistakes as the person in the back of the field does. But because I'm in front of the pack and I'm racing for a top 5 or a win, people look at my doings a little bit harder and under a microscope. But the thing is that if you use to focus your attention to someone in the bottom half of the field and look at the mistakes they make and the wrecks they cause, it's the same amount as me. But I don't know. It's whatever.
All right. So, anyways, let's talk a little bit about PJ Sturgis. Mike, you saw this on the forums. Go ahead and why don't you talk about it?
Yeah. Apparently, this guy PJ Sturgis is the second person in iRacing history to get the Alien Award, and the Alien Award is win official races with every car. You must score championship points to qualify. This award may not be earned while participating in a team event. So, wow, I didn't even know there was such an award, and I just thought it was a kind of a neat thing and to mention PJ.
Yeah, who was the first? His brother?
It didn't say on the forum post. So I don't know how to look that up either. So,
yeah, his brother's a good driver in both Oval Road too. So yeah, congratulations, PJ. It's a heck of an award. What was Kyle Young going for? He was going for a win at every track when we talked to him.
Yeah, which is kind of similar, but this is a win in every car.
Yeah, which you would figure be pretty tough to do. All right, and so let's move on to that $10,000 purse at Apex Racing.
Well, Gomez, you were saying there before. There's not a lot of money in sim racing, but this says otherwise. I saw on Facebook this BSRTC Pro Series Showdown is beginning. 40 drivers are competing for 10 grand. So it's on Apex Racing TV on YouTube. iRacing.com is carrying it as well. As you've seen, iRacing has been carrying a lot of races, but this is one of those series. But man, where does the money come from? That's great that they got a sponsor.
Well, yeah, it might be part sponsor, part pay to play type of thing, So I know I personally went to put up any big money to race in the league, But anyway, $10,000. That's a lot of money. That's how much you win for winning the peak. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, get out there and get at it. There's money out there to be had if you want it, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And we had our third week of the Blanc Plain Endurance Series at Circuit Zolder. Yep. And Mike, I can't really see the standings by team. Do you happen to have that?
Yeah, and guess who's leading? It's
Hutu,
for Racer
right?
Coanda Simsport.
And who's on that team?
That would be all the Alien guys.
That one. So that wouldn't be Hutu's team. Hutu is actually
like
on
Gregor
the Red Line.
Hutu.
Isn't he on Red Line, or is that just a different team? Is that William Levesque?
Right.
Must be on there. And so I got the individual standing. So it's William Levesque, Gregor Hutu, Enzo Benito, Jake Sturgis, and Klaus Clivius. I'm sorry I can't pronounce that, even though you're from my home country of Finland. So that's your top 5. I'm too bad I can't see the teams there. Do you happen to have top 5 teams?
I do.
Okay.
I think.
Can you read them off? I know that you don't see One Up Motorsports on there. I know that much.
We're down in the 500s?
I have no idea.
Anyways, you see that for Racer, whatever, Simsport, the one that was leading, I believe Team Unbelievable, Bitspeed Endurance, and NX Racing Blue, I believe.
All right.
That's something like that, top 5.
And so, Mike, you also have a thing on here about winning a chance to win an Ubering here on iRacing. What is that chance?
Yeah, it's one of these contests. If you follow on Twitter, iRacing, once a day they've been putting out a tweet about mid-morning, and if you retweet it, you have a chance of winning basically $30 on iRacing credit. They're going to pick a guy randomly each day from the retweets, but they also are posting a picture of a corner of the Nürburgring, and if you're the first one to guess which corner, you also win $30 credit. That way you can buy the track, when it comes out, and it's going to cost $30 basically.
Wow.
But it's two tracks that are basically combined, so it's going to be a $30 fee if you want the whole thing.
Right, but you can buy either one. But yeah, if you want a chance to race the whole thing, yeah, then you're gonna have to buy them both. So
yeah, so get on the Twitter over there.
I know it's going to cost a lot of money. I mean, it's going to take up a lot of space on your computer.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, though, to put into it, and I understand the reason why they're doing what they're doing. It's a lot of work. Mike, you want to talk about the new McLaren F1 car?
Yeah, there was an announcement on the forums by Steve Myers from iRacing about the McLaren Honda F1 2015 car, and he basically says the car's coming along greatly. McLaren has provided us a ton of data, and we've engineered some new goodies specifically for this car. And basically, he says they're shooting to have it in the December build. So, going to have a nice update for those road racers.
Yeah, for the guys that enjoy the F1. So I'm sure I'll be getting it for the RoadWire next year.
And some of the people on the forum were talking about, well, the McLaren Honda is a dog this year. Well, that doesn't matter because in iRacing, you're all going to be in the McLaren Honda.
Yep. So what's the top car of the Mercedes? Is that what the top F1 drivers are doing?
Mercedes, yeah, right now.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure it'd be fun, just like the Williams F1 car is right now. So we'll see. And iRacing doing some network upgrades here coming up.
Yeah, next Thursday, early in the morning, they're going to be down for 4 hours for network upgrades, whatever that means.
All right. And let's see. Let's skip over the next one. Let's just go down to Mike has down here that we always see these posts about spotter and crew chief wanted. And you see this everywhere on the forums where people are asking for spotter and crew chiefs. And so, what's your opinion on that? Would you be a spotter or crew chief for one of these guys that are asking for it?
I would. I mean, I've done spotting before just to try it out. I think I'm really good to be like TJ Majors. I actually listen to him every week for like the last 3 years whenever there's a race, and I think I'm really good at it, actually.
Oh, you sound like a spotter when we're in the NIS.
But the problem is if there's a race, I want to race. I want to try to win. I'm a racer. I don't want to spot if I can race, and so it's kind of this catch-22. Jose and I were talking about this last night. Man, it'd be cool if we had a spotter and a crew chief, but how do you recruit people that know about racing and know about everything, but don't want to race?
You can probably get some people from maybe with low licenses and can't race in a series. Can they still spot if they don't have a C-class license?
I don't know.
Yeah, as long as they got the card in the track. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they should be able to spot. I know one of our friends, Jay Heichman, he has a spotter that always works with him. So luckily he found him. I found someone. I try to get my son to do it. He won't do it. So.
I'll spot when I'm not doing anything. If I had you, even though I wasn't using the spot function, like I did for you, Alan, at Indy, in the Indy 500.
Right.
I was just looking out for wrecks ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough deal. I mean, I'm part of a team, and for example, when Tyler runs the peak, he's got spotter, crew chief, and all this stuff that are all part of the team, and you can definitely understand that. But when we're like doing the NIS, basically we're all doing the NIS, or the other guys are just not even on, and so we're not necessarily going to have that. I mean, if someone's bored or something like that, they might come in and spectate and watch out for wrecks for you or something like that. But no one's really, or they might give you advice on something that hey, should I take tires here? No fuel or whatever it is. What should I change in the car to be able to do this? But otherwise, even in a team environment, it's even kind of hard.
Yeah, because we all want to race.
Right. And it's funny.
What are you doing, Logan, in your series?
Logan had to drop out.
Oh.
But Logan definitely has in the Pro Series, he has a spotter and a crew chief. He's got a team around him. It's just like the Peak, so everyone's around him. They're all working on it. Lance, do you have anybody, or are you just a solo out there?
I fly solo all the way. I don't have a team, no spotter, nothing. I just race.
Yeah, yep. One thing I did notice about a lot of the guys that are asking for this, they got really low high ratings. Have you noticed that, Mike?
Yeah, and it scares me. It's like, do they know racing enough, or even how to spot? And yeah, I'm a little leery of the whole thing, and I wouldn't mind a teammate doing it, but like I said, everybody wants to race. So.
Yep. All right. I did want to mention Raul Elvis and his stream that he has going on. It's at the Amazing Elvis. He streams basically top split NIS races, and it's kind of fun to watch. I was actually in his last Sunday morning at Texas race, and so it was kind of fun, and it's always interesting if they mention you. And but he does have a car picture on top that kind of shrinks up the screen. I wish he would get rid of that. So Raul, if you're listening to this, get rid of that car picture. You would have a pretty decent stream there. But I wanted to mention his because I enjoy watching it. But one of the questions I think I got for everyone is that the end of the NIS season's kind of coming up here. So what are people's plans for the off season?
Well, league racing.
On iRacing or just overall?
iRacing. Just iRacing.
I don't know. Maybe catch up on road iRating. I love road, but I don't know the times that the races start and stuff. So, and a lot of the races are not fixed. It's really hard to
That's true. They are not fixed.
Yeah.
There's only a few of them. I think Cadillac is one.
That's a regular Mazda, wasn't it?
No,
Mazda.
The Mazda isn't. Yeah. Well, yeah, the rookie one you can run.
Oh, yeah.
You can always run that, and so you can run that, and then also a Rough Cup, I believe, is fixed.
Rough Cup is fixed?
Yeah.
You sure?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yep. So I think that's it for the fixed, but even even though I think they ruined the McLaren this season, to me it's just totally ruined. I still enjoy making setups and that type of stuff for even the road cars, but I think when I race some GT3 races, I am not going to be running the McLaren until they fix that dang car.
It used to be good.
It used to be fun. Now it's not. So, Mike, you said league?
Yeah, Winter Fix League, sponsored by Baker Racing. We'll be running that on Mondays and Thursdays, it looks like, and maybe Saturdays. Other than that, might just do pickup races and stuff like that, and find stuff and host it.
Not going to run any Oval Series or Road Series?
No, I'm pretty pure to the NIS as far as official racing. I like my iRating to be by series, so I probably won't be touching any of the official stuff.
All right. Jose, what do you plan to do over the off season?
Well, besides, of course, the Winter Fix series and the other series you have going on, I might run a road course series during the off season to try to increase my iRating in the road course. I don't really concentrate much on that. I might want to do that this time.
All right, Jeff, what are you gonna run?
Not sure. I want to get my road course up and try to find a league that in the wintertime will actually challenge me to where I can follow other people's lines and try to learn.
All right, and Carlos?
Well, if I ever stop being lazy, I could run the IMSA. Obviously, Star Mazda, all the usual series I've still been running all this year. Just gonna continue that and hopefully get iRating out of it instead of flipping over or getting wrecked or I don't know.
All right, and Lance, you mentioned you're going to try to work on your road iRating.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to work on that and just get more involved in the road. I think I have some potential in road too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're a fast driver, Lance. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
So
thank
it normally goes over. Yeah, my plan basically is I'm going to do the Winter League, which is our Baker Racing Winter Cup Series, which runs on Monday, or our Winter Xfinity that runs on Thursday, and our Winter GT3 that runs on Saturday. So I'm going to do all those, and then I'm also going to run the A Opens. I'm going to run the A Opens on Friday nights. So I am going to continue running some ovals, just to continue working on the setups all the way through the winter and all the way through the different builds and that type of stuff. And as a team, I think we want to continue doing that, just so we don't lose anything. And so I'm personally going to run the Open, and then I think I've been looking at different road series and trying to figure out, do I want to run one or just jump around or whatever it is. One thing that kind of piqued my interest was the V8 supercars. So that kind of made me think, well, maybe it might be kind of fun doing that, and I think I can do that later on the nights on Fridays. I think when they actually have large SOFs and they split and that type of stuff, since the Australians are mostly the guys that run that thing. So I was actually kind of piqued my interest there, but I think I'm kind of done with the regular GT3 series, the regular GT1. They're just messes anyway. So it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm actually looking forward to this off season. I think it's going to be one of the better ones I think I've had personally. Will have.
All right.
And go ahead, Lance.
Do you like how the V8 supercar drives?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's a challenge. It's a very much challenging. Me and Jay Hushman, we ran in that Bathurst 1000 race, and
Didn't you wreck right away?
Well, it wasn't exactly right away, but I wrecked in my stint. Yes, but it was a fun car, and as long as you can get it to be drivable, it's kind of fun. And so, one thing I'm not worried about is I'm not worried about my road iRating. It's, to me, I reached that goal of over 2,000 one time, and I'm like, okay, that's it, So I'm not too worried about that, and so I might just go out there and do that, or maybe I'll run Skip Barbers and just have fun in the skips.
You're missing out on Star Mazdas.
Yeah. Is it still really bad on the first lap?
Depends on the setup.
All right, because that's how I remember. It's just really, really bad.
Oh, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's depending on how your setup is, though. If you're using like a baseline setup and make it yourself, it should be fine.
All right. Mike, you ready for final thoughts?
I got a couple quick things on hardware.
Right. Okay.
First up, Calvin Nig, I think is how you say it, posted in the forums his 2x4 racing rig design plans. So you can make a rig out of 2x4 wood. And if you search the forums, 2x4 racing rig design plans, you'll find that. There's pictures, there's a PDF, there's sketches, and everything you need to recreate what he's done. Really nice looking rig for probably pretty low cost. The other thing is I redid my cockpit a little bit, rearranged. I put the pictures on Facebook on Tifosi Racing if you want to see, but finally got the computer up in the air above the pedals and was able to put the cockpit closer to the wall. Really enjoying that setup. Moved that the fourth monitor up off the floor and got it up above now, and really liking it. So just kind of condensing my space a little bit. And
you know what? It looks like you poured some money into your rig.
Well, not recently, but
Well, the pedals are still kind of recent, but
yeah, the pedals.
It really looks like you got yourself one hell of a setup compared to my desktop.
Well, you better get chopping then.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you got to have good equipment. I think if you really like this sim and you do it as often as we do, I really enjoy my pedals, and they really make a difference at some of these places like Martinsville and Phoenix. And I can find that place in the brakes where it just wants to lock, but it doesn't, and it's just perfect, So I love it.
Yeah. I know how you feel. When I got the new wheel, it made a big difference for me just on the feel. So but my pedals I think are pretty decent though. So I don't know.
All right, so I'll finish off.
Okay.
Final thoughts. For my final thought, I'm just doing a shout out to old Chewy Side 55, Carlos Fonseca, as just a shout out, dude. You're the technical director here at iRacers Lounge, and I wanted to make sure all our listeners knew what role you play. And basically, you're recording all of this audio. You're doing the live Twitch at the same time. You're editing the MP3 afterwards, and then I'm going to distribute it. But you're really doing all the behind the scenes work, and with over 4,000 downloads now, I just want to say that you're a big part of our success, Carlos, and wanted to take a moment and say thanks.
Alrighty then.
All right. Carlos, final thought?
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing.
All right. Jeff, got anything?
No, thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Jose, you got a final thought?
No, not really.
All right, Lance, this is normally where we kind of just give our final opinions on whatever we talked about or whatever. So you got any final thoughts for the show?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. My final thought is actually more directed towards Lance. Lance, I think you're a real fast driver, and I think you know it. And one thing I do wish is that you would take it a little bit more easy, especially around cars. I would think that you would be known as one of the tops. I know your iRating was really high up at one point, and then you kind of drop down. And I do think that if you took it more easy, that I think you would have a lot of success, and people would stop doing the forum post and yelling at you during iRacing chat and that type of stuff. So it's just from an old man to a young guy, a little piece of advice on that. I think you would enjoy the sim more if people weren't ranting on you. That's just my opinion on that. And then that way too, if someone wrecked you, then they would be blamed and not necessarily you anymore too. So that's just you can respond to that if you want to, but that's my final thought.
No, I ain't got nothing to say.
All right,
but I appreciate the well thoughts and stuff like that and advice.
Yep, but anyway, you're always welcome to come on and give us your opinion on any subject that you might have out there.
All right, thank you.
Yep. So people will say stuff and whatever, and if you want to come in and defend yourself or doing whatever, then go ahead. So anyway, I think that would be it for the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
See you.
All right.
All right, guys.
Good job.
Thanks for listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast. Make sure to go subscribe to us on YouTube, follow on Twitter and Facebook.